Focus on last night. The Business Leadership South Africa, BLSA, announced that it had lifted the suspension of Eskom, effectively reinstating the electricity utility's full membership in the organisation. Eskom was suspended in September 2017 in the wake of serious allegations of state capture and corruption. With us in studio, we've got Sizwe Mbele. He's the Director of Strategy at Business Leadership South Africa. Sizwe, thanks for coming in. Good to have you here on Morning Live.
Good morning to yourself and to your viewers.
Let's go back to the original reasons that Eskom was actually suspended. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, you'll recall, I think the context is quite important in terms of the background. Around about August in 2017 last year, BLSA visited Alex, whereby they did two things fundamentally. It was to sign the contract with South Africans, where they committed to 6 things, and I'll get back to those things. And the second part was that we signed an anti-corruption oath, we call it the pledge, whereby we committed to 4 things. Number one, that we will actively root out corruption. We will have zero tolerance to corruption as well. Anti-competitive behavior, we're not going to tolerate it. And the fourth one, we said that we will need to protect whistleblowers and provide information. Now, with regard to September 2017, when the state capture as well as the malfeasance surfaced in a number of institutions, we took a decision to suspend Eskom. But I must also emphasize that Eskom was not the first organization that was suspended, because the critics normally say that you are the first one to suspend the state-owned enterprise or state-owned institution. We also suspended the likes of KPMG. Yes, and also we spoke very actively and loudly about the state captured malfeasance and malpractices, whether we are a BLSA member or not, including the likes of KPMG, McKinsey, SAP, and so forth. And I must also emphasize that the likes of SAP, the McKinsey, are not the members of BLSA. So this is where this matter comes from. Okay. So you feel that they have done enough? Because I know that it was always said by BLSA that if Eskom makes certain changes, they will be readmitted, and you were outright from the beginning to say that. So why do you feel now that the changes are good enough for them allowed to be back in? Yeah, so we are quite encouraged by the progress that we see, specifically with regard to Eskom. We see that the board, the strengthening of the board and the governance, and therefore we await the appointment of key executives. And also there's been a lot of progress with regard to the appointment, and we welcome the permanent appointment of Pagamani Hadebe as the group CEO of Eskom. And but also there's a lot of prosecution that we actually see with regard to the state capture and people that are implicated. So there is a good progress. So now they need to be focusing on things like how do they now look at the business model, and what is it that they do to strengthen the balance sheet and look at the operational matters.
Well, what does it mean? I mean, perhaps it's important for South Africans to understand the impact of being suspended from BLSA, what this actually means, how it impacts a business. Why is it so important to actually be a part of it?
It's quite important because if you look at business community, you need confidence. Confidence is what you do and what you illustrate, you demonstrate. So it's not just words. So with Eskom, which possesses what we will call a systematic risk, because number one is the biggest SOC. Number two, with regard to what the state guarantees on Eskom is quite important. So whenever they are looking in terms of credibility, looking at raising the capital, is something that is significant. So it is important with regard to that. But BLSA does not just suspend members. We also work with them in terms of how do we strengthen the board, how do we strengthen the executive, what is it that they can do in terms of building the organizational capability. And that is why you will certainly find that whenever the executives and certainly the administration look and say, what is it that we can do, we probably can suggest some of the competent individuals that can serve in those administration, in the board and the executive and things like that.
Have you had any involvement whatsoever in this new choice of board at Eskom, at its new CEO, at runnings and dealings with Eskom? Have you had your say there?
What we have done is to engage with the administration because we want South Africa to be a capable state. My colleague always says that politics and business are one side of the same coin. if politics works, then business can work. If business prosper, then politics needs to work. So what we try to do is to play a much more collaborative and a constructive role towards the development of South Africa as a capable state. And therefore, whenever we are called upon, and BLSA, especially towards the beginning of this year, we started last year, we work on what we call the socio-economic recovery plan, where we're saying these are the things that we think the business needs to do, but not only with regard to the government, but also what is it that the organization, businesses can actually do in terms of producing what we call the prosperity for all.
Let's sort of have a look at the reaction from Eskom. I can imagine, I mean, when they heard that they were being suspended, I mean, that's not something that an SOE wants, tainting their image, which was already very, very tainted and still is, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done to turn the entity around. Their reaction so far, I know the announcement when it came out last night, but have they received this announcement, or what have they said?
Yeah, as part of this collaborative relationship, we consulted them with regard to what we will be saying, but it should not have come as a surprise because they are ongoing engagement. It's no use that our organization can just suspend and leave you there. We are saying we want to work with you in terms of strengthening the governance, in terms of making sure that we root out the corruption. We want also our members to make sure that they are part and parcel. Eskom, together with a number of SOEs, they rely on some of the BLSA members with regard to building the balance sheet, with regard to raising the finance. So it should not have come as a surprise. It's the same like a student. You don't wait up until the end of the year to say, did I pass or not? We've been working with those, notwithstanding the fact that, especially with Eskom, there was this ludicrous idea whereby they will keep on changing the CEOs. So it was difficult at that time to work with the CEO, because at one stage, for 1 month, you find that there's a group CEO, the following month there was someone else. So what we've been doing is to work with them and say, how do we help you to execute on the mandate? Because as you remember, Leanne, it's not used to appoint capable individuals at the board as well as at the CEO level. We need to give them their mandate so that they are able to do their work as mandated by the SOCs.
Sizwe, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back, we'll wrap things up. And I also want to just get your views on the new CEO, Phakamani Radebe. I know that you have said you think he's the right man, but I want to know why.
Absolutely.
I want to know why. Let's take a break. We'll see you after this.